City Clerk, would you call the roll?
Alderman Ravel. Alderman Rainey. Alderman Miller. Alderman Fisk. Alderman Braithwaite. Alderman Nguyen. Alderman Wilson. Alderman Holmes. Alderman Tindem. Oh, that's right, he's in Spain. Well, one in place. 8-0.
We have a quorum. Welcome to the Monday, May 8th meeting of the Evanston City Council. The first item on the agenda is the mayor's public announcements. And I would like to announce that I have had the honor of working with the best darn council in the United States of America, and I can prove that because I've been to the U.S. Mayor's Conference, and I've heard them complain about their councils, and I say my council rocks. So thank you all for being incredible. Judy, where's Judy? I have liked working with you. Remember when we started? And there was that, people were calling us and saying, don't let them move us out of Evanston. We want to stay in Evanston. And you and I threatened to chain ourselves to the door of the housing authorities. Senior. Yeah, we did. And it worked out. We didn't let them move them out of Evanston while they tuck pointed the building. Well, I liked working with you, and I'm glad that we didn't have to chain ourselves to the building. Peter, I am proud of having appointed you, and I'm very proud of the work you've done with minority businesses, and I think you've made a definite impact on this city, and I claim credit for it. You're right, I should. And speaking of claiming credit for other people's work, Melissa, thank you for getting Trader Joe's in town. People have wanted that for years, and I have no idea why, but everyone thanked me for it. And I told them you did it, but I kind of whispered that part. So thank you for doing that. And you're an incredible alderman, and I really appreciate working with you. Don, you are terrific at calling all of us and working through issues, and you are reaching out to all of the council and making sure that we walk through issues the way that we should, not only at the meeting, but before we get to the meeting, that we've thought things out, and I really appreciate you doing that. It's a terrific service to the whole council. And Dolores, I have talked about how wonderful you are so many times, but I'm going to say again, not only are you wonderful because of Gibbs Morrison and all of the work you've done with Evanston Own It, but you got me to go to church for 3 hours for one service. That was pretty amazing. Eleanor, the 7th Ward thinks I'm brilliant because I appointed you. You are beloved in the 7th Ward, and thank you for being such a great representative for them. And Anne, it was so much fun when we sat together. I miss sitting next to you. Rodney and Wally are great, but they don't say funny things in the middle of meetings when they shouldn't say funny things. And you are a great alderman, and I have really appreciated working with you, and I think you're terrific. And Brian, the 9th Ward has never had so many meetings. You have created 9th Ward meetings and 9th Ward input into City Council, and I really appreciate the work that you've done making that happen. And as for you, Rodney, you may not make as many jokes as Ann, but I really have enjoyed working with you, and I think you do a terrific job. And Wally, I have met a lot of city managers, both at the Northwest Municipal Conference and at the United States Mayor's Conference, and you are the best. I think you are so good that people don't appreciate how good you are because they get used to you being in Evanston and being that good. But when you go around the rest of the country, Wally, you are spectacular, and I know we've lucked out, but we've done a lot of great things together, and I really appreciate working with you. And not to forget my family. I would like to thank them for all the basketball and football games I've missed and water polo matches I haven't attended. They've been terrifically supportive. And I would like to thank Dar Francelno. Dar, where are you? who's part of our family by now, but anything good that has happened in the mayor's office has happened with Dar's help. And Steve, I warn you, anything bad that might happen, Dar stops by coming in to see you, and she says, "It's not my place to tell you this, but," and then you better not do it. Whatever it is, just don't do it. I'd like to thank Morty and Mimi Shapiro for being not only my friends, but for being friends to the entire city of Evanston and creating a new relationship between Northwestern and the city. And I would like to thank the best darn city staff. One of the things I've learned is that our city staff is dedicated, idealistic, and really does a marvelous job. So thank you, everyone who works for the city of Evanston. You have made my life incredibly much easier. And Jan Schakowsky and Senator Dick Durbin have to be thanked every time, because a lot of the work that I've done has been to ask them for help and to get help when I asked for it. So I thank them for making my time as mayor much more successful than it ever could have been without them. And if there's anyone I've forgotten to thank, and there probably is, I apologize. But I really do mean it. You have been a fabulous city staff and council. And next, City Manager, do you have announcements?
Madam Mayor, on behalf of the staff of the City of Evanston, I'd like to thank you for all that you have done for the residents of Evanston. We're honored to have worked with you. Alderman Holmes, Alderman Miller, also Clerk Green, thank you. It's been an honor to work with all of you.
Thank you. City Clerk, do you have communications?
Just one, Madam Mayor. I just want to say thank you to all of my supporters who put their trust in me for these 9 years. I just want to say thank you. It's been a joy and an honor to have served you. I look to be around. I'm not gone. I'm not dying. I will be back. That's all, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, City Clerk. Next on the agenda is public comments. And we have Lori Osborne, Janet Steidel, Sarah Shastock, and Vicki Burke.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We're going to miss you.
Thank you.
So tonight, I'm going to speak both as a citizen of Evanston and then also as a historian. That's currently my job title at the Evanston History Center. So I'm speaking about the library parking lot and the possibility that it will be brought up tonight again. And I've often said that I'm very proud to live in the one place in Illinois that seems like it is a well-run and honest government. And I'm really not sure how I feel right now. This process has been what I feel is less than transparent and open from the beginning. The request for proposal was written without input from neighbors or the historic sites nearby. It was written with an end result in mind, and it has achieved that result without a lot of public input along the way. If there's such a need for office building in Evanston, why are there not developers wanting to build one? Why are we cramming it into this one space in downtown Evanston? Is this the only place an office building can go? Speaking as a historian, I've already said in the last meeting just 2 weeks ago, talked about the special nature of this place and the concentration of women's history there and the intact structures that are irreplaceable. Most communities would look at them and be amazed at what we have and that it's still all here. The WCTU site, as I said, is a significant women's history site on multiple levels, local, national, regional, and even worldwide. And we at the site are used to women being diminished, the role of women in this community being diminished and misunderstood and downplayed. And it's a little hard for me to stand here knowing the women who've come before us and the role they've played in making this town what it is. So finally, I want to say just a few more things for you to think about. As I said before, once this property is gone, it's gone forever. It won't ever be in city hands again. It won't be under anyone's control but the developer. We need to think about Evanston as a heritage tourism place. And although that sounds like a pie in the sky, it's a real opportunity for economic growth and development. We know it works in other places. We should try it here and do a better job of it. I'm interested in what's going on in the lake house. I haven't been involved with that very much. Honestly, I thought the whole thing was dead and the building was going to be gone. And I'm so excited to see what backing up and reviewing a public process has produced. The new partnerships, the new possibilities there. It's astounding and wonderful, and I'm so glad to see that have happened. And as someone said at the last meeting, I think we need something brilliant in this place in downtown Evanston, and to do it before we've lost something we can't regain. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Janet Steidel, and I'm speaking as a citizen and a preservation advocate. I attended one meeting with the developers when Paul Janicki's building was first introduced. I knew then that it was not about the building's design, but about the height and the mass on this particular site. There is just no way an 11-story building design, there is just no 11-story building design that won't have a negative, devastating effect on the historic character and context of Francis Willard House, a National Historic Landmark. This is the fundamental problem. I truly believe the city is the best owner of the LPL parcel because of the nature of the site and its historic neighboring properties. At the City Council meeting just 2 weeks ago, Alderman Rainey spoke these words, "Bring us something brilliant." I knew then she was onto something that should be driven by the city as the owner and, more importantly, as the steward of this site. National Historic Landmarks are very important things. The criteria applied to their designation is the most stringent of all landmarking criteria used by the Secretary of the Interior and the National Park Service. These sites possess exceptional value or quality in illustrating or interpreting the heritage of the United States. Currently, there are just over 2,500 of these in the entire nation, 88 in Illinois and 3 in Evanston. An 11-story building, the height of the Mather North building, looming over Francis Willard House, a National Historic Landmark, will have an adverse effect on it and the entire local historic district. It will directly and indirectly alter characteristics that will diminish the integrity of the property's location and setting. Further, it will jeopardize the site's very future. The loss of site integrity can lead to loss of capacity building for historic sites, loss of funding streams, grant eligibility, and finally the inability to maintain property, leading to its physical loss, demolition by neglect. Think of it, the loss of a National Historic Landmark right here in Evanston, one of 3. In Evanston, a city that prides itself on its multifaceted and national significant history. It would be shameful. I suggest we convene a blue ribbon panel, a group of exceptional, nonpartisan people appointed to investigate, study, and analyze this site's potential in collaboration with its neighboring historic sites. We've been told there will be a vote this evening to reopen the sale and that it is a done deal. It's been said this is the best we're going to get, but that is just not true. More accurately, it is the only thing we've gotten. This process is incomplete. By voting 6-2 just 2 weeks ago, this council opened a discussion about what to do with the LPL site. So let's do that. Open the discussion. The decision-making process is incomplete, and it hasn't been transparent. This should not be how Evanston views its stewardship of arguably its most significant historic site. Thank you.
Thank you. Sarah?
Good evening. I'm Sarah Shostak, also speaking as a concerned citizen, and tonight as a somewhat worried citizen. Just 2 weeks ago, as others have said, this council voted decisively to not go further with the contract for moving ahead on the library parking lot structure. Why is it that it seems to be that it's going to be reopened tonight? How does it happen that 6 of you voted no at the last meeting and are preparing, many of you, I have been told, to vote yes tonight? There's been no open public discussion. What is it that has been going on? To me, it sounds like a rush to proceed to a contract. And when I hear that, I am reminded of the Harley Clark debacle. Community engagement did not happen until after intense citizen opposition erupted across Evanston. Much time and much money was wasted by all involved. Did we or did we not learn something from that process? If we want different results, we must do things differently. I hope that changing our processes will become a priority for the new council and new mayor. Now, in the aftermath of Harley Clark, Mayor Tisdall wisely appointed a task force to explore the options and wisely tapped Steve Haggerty to lead it. They explored 5 options without making a determination. They organized presentations on each option and held a pros and cons discussion, and then did a survey to collect community preferences. This gave the committee, now moving forward under Alderman Revelle, a solid foundation on which to proceed. They have come up with an imaginative, collaborative approach to the site and a big tent approach to its purposes. Now, the library parking lot is also city property, therefore the citizens' property. As long as the city owns this lot, we retain the potential to get something brilliant here. Well, I certainly respect the decision and commitment to promote a broader tax base and to stimulate downtown retail. It's premature to sell this unique property when the proposed purpose is not suited to this site and when the process has inadequately engaged owners of adjacent properties. We should not rush to sell. The evolving Harley Clark project shows that imaginative possibilities for development will emerge as the issue is explored and the possibilities are allowed to unfold. Let's move now to community engagement as the productive way forward. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Vicki Burke, and I'm speaking as president at the FWHA and representative of the president at the WCTU. First of all, I want to thank Mayor Tisdale and thank a lot of you that have come and to our invitation to the Willard property to learn, to educate, and I know we have invites out to some of the rest of you will follow up. And Alderman Holmes, I still want to get you over there and talk about a few things. And I am committed to going forward and working within the decisions, but I am a bit disturbed because my word means everything to me, and I would just like to remind you of the words that were spoken on April 24th when the 6-2 vote was. You've heard Alderman Rainey quote, "Bring us something brilliant." Alderman Miller was, "No one has expressed any support that I know of." Alderman Wilson, if you haven't been there, you should, because it's a jewel. And Alderman Tandem, who is not here tonight, went on and on. I just want to remind you of what was said April 24th when a 6-2 vote was taken, not to negotiate. I understand it's not a sell. It was a not to negotiate. And that tonight a motion is going to be made, and we're understanding that the vote is there to flip that entire vote. That is my concern. But again, I am open to working with and doing the right thing for the city and the property. And I invite you all to come and visit and learn. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Tina Payden, Jacqueline Coker, and Tom Zanuck.
Good evening, Mayor, City Manager, City Clerk, Alderman. Those of you who are leaving, thank you for your service, and we'll miss you. Item Agenda 101, Affordable Housing. I'm hoping that the remaining aldermen can work with the new mayor and aldermen about our affordable housing issues. After much discussion with my family, we have decided to rent our set-aside affordable units to market-rate tenants. The city is not making any effort to put any monies into place families that need housing now. This discussion goes on for a long time, and we cannot wait until you decide on a 16-unit building that will be coming up for discussion for the next year or two. There is no incentive for landlords to provide affordable housing when there is no funding for the agencies to place people in our units. There is also no monies for landlords like me. We must need to add a bar or a restaurant to our first floor of our buildings in order to get a $50,000 forgivable loan, grant money to fix the facade, tax breaks, and more. Thanks, but no thanks. If I want a home improvement loan, I'll go to the bank, not to the city of Evanston. Count us in your number of lost affordable units, which probably equals around 4,000 or 5,000 by now. You can always call me if you find some money, time, and want to make this issue of affordable housing more than an agenda item. Thank you.
Thank you. Jacqueline?
Good evening. Thank you. Thank you for your service. I just thought I would make for public record the letter that I sent to yourself, Honorable Mayor Tisdale, and also to my second ward alderman. Dear Mayor Tisdale, I'm writing to you to express my serious concerns with the proposed Pittner-Dempster low-income housing project, of which I was recently made aware. I attended my first community meeting on April 25th, at which time I was informed of the details of this proposal. I was offered the first chance to ask questions as a resident immediately impacted by this proposal. I understand that there were 2 previous meetings in which the immediate residents who would be affected were not notified. We were told at the the April 25th meeting, that the funding for this project has not been approved yet. Since Hal brought the architect and all of the plans, everything's been drawn up. Full scale, I'm convinced that I can only assume that the city plans to go forward with this affordable housing unit. My concerns are as follows. Number 1, the Section 8 affordable housing units are not sporadically placed throughout the entire city of Evanston. Existing units that I could locate online, and I've been a resident of Evanston for the past 5 years, are all located in the West Evanston area. I know I did make a mistake in my letter. There is one on 319 West Dempster, which is actually not West Dempster, so I apologize for that. Perhaps I'm mistaken, but I did this short notice, at the last minute. 2, it's been brought to my attention that the wealthier Evanston Wilmette residents in the central eastern zones verbally and in great numbers have expressed their displeasure at a similar community meeting, negated Section 8 housing units be built in their immediate area of residence, and apparently don't want low-income families placed in their areas of residence at all. It's my understanding that the city has since obliged them and has refrained from doing so. If this is the case, it's completely unfair and unjust, and if the Evanston community is so adamant on continuing to add additional Section 8 housing in our city, in addition to the magnitude of existing units, more so than surrounding cities, as far as I can understand, it's only fair that every resident participate in these programs equally, regardless of their wealth status. The poor should not be segregated and secluded to one specific area of the city, which currently happens to be West Evanston. Number 3, property taxes. Although Howe indicated that they have applied for a federal grant, I believe it's a federal grant, I might be mistaken, it might be a state grant, to fund this project, I've since learned that they've also intended to seek additional funding from the city. Howe was unable to answer the question of whether or not this projected property would be tax exempt. If not, who will absorb the cost to fund this project? We, the taxpayers, will. This in addition to the rumored 33% property tax increase over a period of the next 2.5 to 3 years, to me is absurd. Rather than build from ground up, why not utilize one of the existing vacant properties or warehouses that are located in and around the city of Evanston, not in the west area where we already have a lot of affordable housing. Number 4, zoning. Pittner Dempster residences consisting of 1- and 2-story homes are identified as the R5 zone. Other similar 1- and 2-story residences in the vicinity are identified as R2 zones. Why is this? This 3-story unit will stand out like a sore thumb, not to mention the traffic congestion that we'll have to contend with, considering this unit will have only one entrance accessible from the alley on the North Pittner side. This coupling with the fact that there's a 24-hour car wash, which I've since learned is not a 24-hour car wash. I think it closes at 10, but there's people there continually. Residents with garages behind their homes utilizing this alley. There's also 2 schools in this vicinity. It's only going to compound the already congested traffic backup in the immediate area. 5, sewer. Since the purchase of my home in July 2016, I've spent over $8,300 in sewer replacements that collapsed due to the age of these clay pipes and tree root from city tree. The city lawyers refused to assist with even partial payment of the replacement sewer, even though they are well aware that the Evanston clay sewer pipes are all beginning to break due to age. I have also since learned that many residents in my immediate area are experiencing similar sewer issues. So a structure of this size will only compound this problem as well. In summary, to Alderman, Second Ward Alderman, I know you proceeded to tell us your personal story of growing up in low-income housing during the 425 meeting. I sympathize with that, and I understand the need for low-income housing within reason. I made the conscious sacrifice to purchase this property with my daughter, who was also a single mother of 2 children. She could have gone on her own. I could have gone on my own. We chose to buy this house together.
I do need you to wrap up.
Yes, I'll wrap up.
Thank you.
This is our first home. We have also struggled over the years. However, we've always lived within our means. I appreciate your taking the time to allow me to voice my concerns, and I sincerely hope that you really consider my valid concerns prior to moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Tom Zanuck.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the council, and thank you for all of your good service. I just wanted to discuss a little bit the library parking lot issue. And as all of you know, the developers have had a number of meetings with respect to their neighbors and have hired a noted local architect by Mr. Janicki and have attempted to cooperate with the neighbors to the fullest extent possible. And I know that Laura Osborne, from whom you've heard, Janet and Sarah Shostak and Vicki Burke are very well-meaning, but I believe they have the cart before the horse. I agree that there should be open public comment with respect to the development of this library lot. And in the event you vote today to negotiate, enter into negotiations with the developers, you know the process better than they do, in fact. It would then allow for the full airing of what it would be that would be developed there, how tall it would be, how much those developers should cooperate with their neighbors. It's not logical to assume that a development that would bring millions of dollars of tax revenue, additional jobs, and enhance that area would end up in the destruction of the neighbors. In fact, at each meeting with the neighbors, the developers have reached out to inquire about how the first floor could be used in such a way to enhance the uses of their neighbors. There's been discussions about limiting the use of the top floor of the building so that it wouldn't be in competition with the neighbors. So I'd urge you to seriously consider opening the negotiations up so that then the zoning processes, the planning processes, we can go through, and that certainly will be a very public airing of what it was that, or what it should be that should be there, and everybody will have an opportunity to put their input in, and we can accommodate those needs. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next is Karen Jackson, Junad Risky, Vincent and Alice Akins, and Michael Deniskoff. There are more seats in here if people want to sit.
Hi, I'm glad I made it. I'm Karen Jackson. I'm a new resident of Evanston, and I read about this project in Evanston Now. And I'm not normally a paper reader because I pretty much am a tech artist. I do a lot of things visually, and it's what I do for a living. And I moved to Evanston because of that. And when I read about this development, again, I ride my bike there all the time, and I look at the property, and I really don't know what's there. I didn't know it was for the library. I didn't know it was for the women's club. I didn't know it was a lot of things I didn't know. And when I found out about this, I said, this is amazing. This is great, because being a new resident, I want to stay here. I want to continue to develop art here. I want to have a space to be able to display my art and encourage other people, part of the Evanston Arts District, to display it in the community area. In that area, it will be beautiful first floor for everyone to see it as they walk by, to be part of the community, and you just feel more engaging, as well as bringing jobs into the area. I think it's an amazing thing as far as development is concerned, and it includes parking. I mean, what else could you want? I mean, it's safe for women. Again, we're very, very much about women of the arts, and I want to be safe in the location that I'm at. I want to be able to display my art and be a part of the community. And I really feel that it's a good development, and I'm very excited to have it to be part of to be part of my area. And sorry, a little nervous, but I wasn't sure who to talk to about that when I heard about this meeting. I figured I might as well have my voice heard. I mean, there's a lot of talk about money and revenue and all that other stuff I don't quite understand, but what I do understand is the movement for the arts, and we just don't have enough of that, either in Chicago and in Evanston. I think it's a really great place to do that. So,
Thank you very much.
Junad Risky. As this council closes, I believe they've left some unfinished business. And I think part of this is a mode of operation here to not finish business, to drag it out forever if you don't want to deal with it, and it's been a problem. I think Harley Clark is probably the prime example. Some of the speakers have suggested it might be finished, but this is dragged out for 3 years with all types of, I would say, permutations and combinations. But when something wants to get done fast, like tonight it looks like, apparently you're going to vote on it without any public discussion for this library parking lot. The same thing. So it's really how this council works. The public really is losing trust. And it's not just me, and there's plenty of people. And the more and more that are losing trust, it means more trouble. There's another thing that's left unfinished, the beach at Northwestern. This council basically has hid that away. There's obviously been an unwritten contract there between the city and Northwestern, because that beach doesn't belong to Northwestern. So it's very interesting what's been done there. The public doesn't know about it, but the Roundtable appears to have made a comment about that too in a recent editorial. And there's plenty of messes that have been left here by this council. The James Park water contamination, and really the fact that there's really no plan to remediate it, but just to continue an expensive lawsuit that may have run over $2 million now. And then it sounds like we have another mess that I noticed with a contract with water with Skokie. It appears like we're going to go into litigation. But we're really excited. We're honoring the mayor tonight for all the work at the water plant and all this. It's interesting. Finally, it's been well in the press recently. The city manager is leaving. I'm wondering not leaving. He's looking for another job, I should say. I believe he doesn't have the job yet. But what will this council do without him, I guess? Because, frankly, too many of you don't seem to think for yourselves or haven't thought for yourselves in quite a while. You can continue really to let him negotiate deals and not do the work, have the work done properly up front. And these things are like this gentleman was saying, oh, you're going to negotiate something. Well, that's not, I don't believe that's the way business is properly conducted. It's not negotiated. When you put things out for bid here, we're not following rules and procedures for bidding things properly here. And this has been going on for quite some time. And it's quite serious. The recent Board of Ethics hearings, I believe, are just the tip of what's to come. The board recently found one alderman guilty of an ethics violation, a second one that was also basically warned, and the other complaints were dropped. But as I said, that may be the tip of what's to come. Ethics violations really are quite serious. But I found it interesting as I listened to the orientation of these council members, and some new members weren't there, really how little they seem to grasp ethics. Because the way ethics are really, there's gray areas for ethics. And there are gray areas. But there's other areas where ethics are quite clear cut. And finally, there's a small subset where ethics violations and things lead to other things. And those are criminal violations. So I think everyone needs to understand those things very carefully. I think the next 4 years here can be quite interesting. Thank you.
Thank you. Vincent and Alice.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. We are Vincent and Alice Akins, and we are concerned residents of the 1300 block of Pittner Avenue, where there are many of us, almost majority of us on the 1300 block of Pittner that will be negatively affected by the Howe development project. We are here standing to state that we oppose the proposed affordable housing project for the corner of Pittner and Dempster. And I know this might be the first time you're hearing us oppose this, but we are in numbers, and you will be hearing more from us in future meetings. Thank you.
Thank you. Michael Denisoff, Dr. Michael Steffens, and Susan Wolin.
Good evening. I'd just like to take a moment on behalf of the Northwestern students to thank Alderman Holmes, Tendam, and Miller for their service, as well as Mayor Tistall. We know we haven't always seen eye to eye, but we just want you to know that we really recognize and appreciate all the efforts that you have done for the Evanston community, including Northwestern students. In addition, I know I'm getting a little ahead of the agenda here, but I'd just like to congratulate and welcome the newly elected and re-elected aldermen, as well as the mayor-elect. And we look forward to working together to increase partnerships and collaboration between Northwestern students and the rest of the Evanston community. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Michael Stevens? Pass? Pass. Bless you. Thank you. Susan Wolin? Well, thank you, too. All right, that concludes public comment.
One more.
There's one. All right.
Thank you. It's very short. Good evening, all of the city council members. I'd like to thank you for listening to my comments and pleas for a better Evanston, which benefits the citizens, rich, poor, old, and young, and which prides itself on adversity and equity. Developers have now changed the face of adversity and equity of Evanston. Who now then really cares about Evanston? Thank you, all of you.
Thank you. Now I think that concludes public comment. Alderman Wilson, we're at special orders of business.
And thank you. I did try to reach out to some interested members of the community about the prior decision on Ordinance 41017, which is regarding the, as it's referred to as the library parking lot. And after we took the vote last time, I spent some time talking to community members, talking to colleagues, and trying to get, I guess, a better grasp on what others had as far as the vision was concerned. And in having those conversations, and while it may seem a little bit counterintuitive to some, it seems to me that, well, I'm concerned that we cut the negotiations off before we ought to have cut them off. We're not approving the project. We're not approving the 11-story building. We're authorizing the city manager to talk to them and see what they can come up with. Alderman Rainey pointed out that she wants something, I forget the exact words, amazing or great, or whatever it is, brilliant. We all want something brilliant, but I think at this juncture, we don't really know if the developers are going to be able to come up with something brilliant. They may well. It's my expectation, I'll say it to the developers right now, my expectation is that if a project is going to earn my vote on this block, it's going to have to be something that brings the entire block together, not something that divides it. Others have referred to it as doing harm. A project that I would be willing to vote for would be something that does no harm, but enhances the properties, enhances the neighbors to the north and to the south. And as I've had these conversations, it's just apparent that I simply don't know if they are or are not able to do that, and that makes me uncomfortable with having voted no on the negotiations. So that being said, I would like to make a motion, and also I heard some of the public, I heard all the public comment, but there's not any done deals. You know, that's something that gets bounced around a lot. This is a negotiation, and it's not a done deal. So I try to do my homework. I try to talk to people. There are a number of you in the audience I have spent time talking to. It's important to me to make the right decision, but it's also important not to interrupt something that might end up being the best thing before they've had a chance to put that on the table. So with all of that said, I would like to move that we reconsider the declining the city manager's authorization to negotiate the sales contract pursuant to Ordinance 41017.
Is there a second? Second. All right, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All right, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. The ayes have it. Oh, I'm sorry. All right, 2 noes. The ayes still have it.
So then the motion would be to approve.
All right.
So that motion having prevailed, I would move that we authorize the city manager to conduct the negotiations pursuant to Ordinance 41017.
Is there a second? Second. Okay. Alderman Rainey?
I did have my light on before that motion was made.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I didn't see it.
In reviewing the council rules, I noticed, I think I could be wrong for the first time.
Highly unlikely.
No. However, I thought the council rule, and I beg your pardon because I'm having a little trouble talking of all nights. It was a little unclear about reconsiderations. Is this considered a contract? I'm not sure what this was considered. What was the issue we had before us 2 weeks ago? What was the ordinance considered?
All right, parliamentary expert.
Madam Mayor, members of council, Clerk Green Grant for our Corporation Council. Ordinance 41017 was to authorize the city manager to negotiate the sale of the subject property. So pursuant to the city code, it would require a two-thirds vote to authorize, two-thirds vote of the alderman then present to authorize that negotiation process.
I know, but was it considered a contract ordinance? Was it considered a purchase?
It would be considered a contract.
A sales contract?
It would be considered an authorization to enter into a sales contract subject to later council approval as part of the two-step property divestiture and sale process embodied in the city code.
So is that the kind of ordinance that we should have reconsidered at the same meeting?
It can be made, the motion can be made tonight.
So the first few sentences of the motion of 22.1 to reconsider, blah, 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 this kind of an issue, then it says, the vote taken on any other motion, resolution, can be taken at another meeting, at the next meeting. But it refers directly to the same meeting for a contract, approve a purchase, contract, bond sale, zoning variation, or special use at the same meeting.
With respect to the first sentence that you're reading, you are indeed correct that that is what the language says. However, since this would only be the preliminary first step preparatory to any negotiated sale, I think in cases of the language, the motion made tonight is appropriate.
If I were feeling more feisty, I would challenge your ruling on that. And I think if we had, I think this motion really should have been made the night that we overrule, that we voted no. I really do. And I think it's pretty clear that this motion to reconsider should have been made 2 weeks ago. What do you think, Alderman?
Alderman Wilson has his light on.
Alderman Wilson, you did not have, you did not show me the courtesy of calling me. When you called around the entire town, you did not call me.
So and just to clarify for everybody's benefit, this is the request to negotiate. So if the city manager comes up with something that he thinks is a good contract, we would then have to approve the contract. Is that not correct?
It is a two-step process, Alderman Wilson,
Right,
correct.
so we're not approving the sale of the property here tonight. Right. So.
I asked him to explain, that's why I asked him at first to explain what was the action that we denied at the previous meeting. He was pretty clear that it was
It's the
like a
negotiation.
contract issue.
It's not the contract, it's the negotiation. The contract would come from the negotiation. You don't have a
But
contract till you
we were
negotiate it.
sending him off to negotiate a contract. We were sending him off to negotiate a contract.
But he can't sign it until we authorize it, so two-step
Can't
process.
sign it till you have a pen. You know, I mean, you're really like splitting hairs here. So,
There's a huge difference between
Well,
sign this piece of paper and let's talk about what's in the piece of paper. So we don't know, the point being, and that's what I was talking about, we don't know what will be in the piece of paper yet. So without that knowledge, it doesn't really seem appropriate to say no to something that we don't know what it will look like.
well, it's very interesting though that for something so loosey-goosey, we're required to have a 2/3 vote, which is a very unusual requirement for something so relaxed and nebulous to have a 2/3 vote. This is a pretty important motion, pretty important, 2/3 vote.
And I didn't say it wasn't important.
Oh,
I think
no,
it's very
but-
important, which is why I've given it so much thought.
But I'm
So.
more right than you are on this one. So. I am. I definitely am. And I mean, one of these, one of the most important things I've learned in my 30 years on this council is I have learned how to count. So that's why I'm not going to the wall on this, because I see that you do have the votes. And I think it's very unfortunate, because while you say that we're just going, the manager is just going to negotiate, this is a manager, and all of you out there listen to this, this is a manager who most likely is not going to be here. Okay? This is a manager, this is a council that is going to turn over. This is a mayor that's going to turn over. So we're going to go negotiate this, and there's going to be an entirely different personality up here running this council. Additionally, during the discussions before we had this vote 2 weeks ago, the discussion around town was, this is the building that's going to get built. This isn't something we're going to start negotiating on. What we saw in those drawings, while there aren't construction drawings, and while it hasn't been to the Plan Commission, while it hasn't been before DAPR, while it hasn't been, we haven't had construction drawings approved, this is the building that's going to get built. It's going to look pretty much like you saw. So it's not true. It is not true that we're just going to go and, discuss a contract. You know that already.
I disagree with you. I couldn't disagree with you more.
I disagree with you.
You can't possibly say that any given thing is the thing.
It's, okay.
Especially
how about
with this council.
It's pretty much the thing. It's pretty much the thing.
You don't know that. You're just saying that.
Yes, I do. Yeah, we all know that.
And I've talked to a lot of people. Everybody knows my expectations on what the project should look like in order to get my vote to approve a contract. And there's a good ways to go. So this is not what I would want to be there, which is why I said no in the first instance.
I'm sure the entire development team is looking forward to having your vote, I'm sure. And it'll be exactly what you want. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, well, that comforts me.
I'd like to call the question.
All right, we have a motion on the floor to approve 41017.
All right, could you read the motion, please?
Don.
So I move that we adopt ordinance 41017 to authorize the city manager to negotiate sale contract for the city-owned real estate property located at 1714 through 20 Chicago Avenue.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
No.
All right.
Roll call, please.
Rodney, can we have a roll call vote?
Alderman Ravel?
Yes.
Alderman Rainey?
No.
Alderman Miller? Aye. Alderman Fisk? Aye. Alderman Braithwaite? Aye. Alderman Nguyen? No. Alderman Wilson?
Aye.
Alderman Holmes?
Same as the 24th. Yes.
So 6-2.
6-2, the motion passes. Next, under special orders of business, is approval of the minutes of the regular city council meeting of April 24th, 2017 for action. Could someone make a motion? It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. SP2 is payroll, April 3rd, 2017 through April 16th, 2017 for action. Could someone make a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. SP3 is bills list, May 9th, 2017 for action.
So moved.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. SP4 is the purchase of Arbatec fungicide from Rainbow Tree Care Scientific Advancements.
So moved.
Second. Let me move.
Does anyone want to discuss the fungicide? All right. All in favor? Oh, it's money. Sorry. Rodney, you have to call the roll.
Alderman Ravel? Aye. Alderman Rainey?
Aye.
Alderman Miller?
Aye.
Alderman Fisk?
Aye.
Alderman Braithwaite?
Aye.
Alderman Nguyen?
Aye.
Alderman Wilson?
Aye.
Alderman Holmes?
Aye.
8-0.
8-0, the motion passes. SP 5 is ordinance 37017, granting special use approval for a planned development with rezoning and special use for a convenience store at 831 Emerson. Alderman Rainey, did you want to make a motion?
Yes. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Madam Mayor and members of the council, I'd like to move at the request of the developer and with the agreement of several aldermen to move this to our meeting of June 12th, I believe, June 12th. A date certain, actually, to
Second.
consider this item.
Second.
Is that the right date?
It's been moved and seconded to move this to June 12th. City Clerk, could you call the roll?
Alderman Ravel. Aye. Alderman Rainey.
Aye.
Alderman Miller. Aye. Alderman Fisk. Alderman Braithwaite.
Aye.
Alderman Nguyen. Aye. Alderman Wilson.
Aye.
Alderman Holmes.
Aye.
8-0.
8-0, the motion passes. Oh, next is SP 6. Alderman Rainey.
Yes. Madam Mayor, this is Resolution 42R17. The Evanston City Council would like to designate the 1963 water filtration building located within the Evanston Water Treatment Place as the Elizabeth B. Tisdall Water Filtration Building. It's at 555 Lincoln Street, Evanston, Illinois.
Second.
For action.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Thank you very much.
We're honored.
I am honored. No discussion.
Will all of our bills have that on it?
Yes.
I hope not.
That's funny.
So we'll be reminded of you
water
every other month.
Thank you for that thought, Alderman Rainey. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. These resolutions were, the city clerk's going to read them, and I'm going to be.
Mayor, members of the council, I believe the order of business for the remaining resolutions is that Mayor Tisdall will ask for the council's approval, and then once they are all approved, the mayor will go back into the well with the aldermen to recognize them. So we'll go through all of them in a row.
Can we go through them in one vote?
You can if you'd like.
I would like. Resolution 43R17, upon the occasion of the retirement of Alderman Brian Miller. Resolution 44R17, upon the occasion of the retirement of Alderman Mark Tendam. Resolution 45R17, upon the occasion of the retirement of Alderman Dolores Holmes. And Resolution 46R17, upon the occasion of the retirement of Clerk Rodney Green. And Resolution 47R17, upon the occasion of the retirement of Mayor Elizabeth B. Tisdall. For action. Someone make a motion?
Move approval.
We've got it seconded. Thank you. All right, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. All right, Clerk Green, will you read them all? I go down and find what I'm supposed to present to Alderman Miller.
And Madam Mayor, while you're doing that, just to let the members of the public know, this meeting will end probably in the next 25 minutes. We're then going to clear the council chambers so that the family and of the new mayor and council members will have a seat. So if you don't have a seat right now, if you can wait another 20 minutes or so, we'll then make sure that the family members of the new mayor and council have a seat. So that's coming up here hopefully before 7:30. Call of orders.
I don't have it before me.
It's on the yellow sheet.
Oh, the yellow sheet.
Yeah, Jeannie. Jeannie's somewhere.
Right from there.
Resolution 43R17, upon the occasion of the retirement of Alderman Brian Miller. Whereas Brian Miller served as Alderman of the 9th Ward of the City of Evanston during the years 2015 through 2017. Whereas Alderman Miller served as a member of the following boards, commissions, committees, and panels: Administration and Public Works, Human Services, Rules, Housing and Community Development, Transportation and Parking, 911, Emergency Telephone System, and MWEBE Development. And whereas Alderman Miller has served the citizens of his ward and the entire city with distinction, giving freely of his time, energy, and ability, now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Evanston, Cook County, Illinois, Section 1, that the City Council does hereby express great appreciation to Alderman Miller for his service to the city and regrets the occasion of his retirement. Section 2, that a copy of this resolution executed by the mayor and attested by the city clerk be sent to Alderman Miller. Signed, Elizabeth B. Tisdall, Mayor, attested by Rodney Green, City Clerk, adopted May 8, 2017. Oh, I got this in the yellow. Yellow packet. Yeah, let's see that shirt. 45R17, a resolution upon the occasion of the retirement of Alderman Dolores A. Holmes. Whereas Dolores A. Holmes served as Alderman of the 5th Ward of the City of Evanston during the years 2005 through 2017. Whereas Alderman Holmes served as Chair or member of the following boards, commissions, and committees: Administration and Public Works, Human Services, Rules, Planning and Development, Economic Development, Housing and Community Development. And whereas Alderman Holmes has served the citizens of her ward and the entire city with distinction, giving freely of her time, energy, and ability. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Evanston, Cook County, Illinois, Section 1, that the City Council does hereby express great appreciation to Alderman Holmes to her service to the city and regrets the occasion of her retirement. Section 2, that a copy of this resolution executed by the mayor and attested by the city clerk be sent to Alderman Holmes. Signed by Elizabeth B. Tisdall, Mayor, attested Rodney Green, City Clerk, adopted May 8, 2017.
Alderman Miller is sexism, the guys don't get flowers.
Clerk Green?
Manager, would you?
I've got one. Clerk Green?
Clerk Green, you gotta come up here.
Mayor, members of the council, resolution 46R17 upon the occasion of the retirement of City Clerk Rodney Green. Whereas Rodney Green served as clerk for the City of Evanston during the years 2008 through 2017. And whereas during his tenure as clerk, Rodney Green was instrumental in instituting online real estate transfer tax collection, providing passport services, and home notary service. And whereas Rodney Green is a certified master municipal clerk and has received awards for program excellence in governance by the International Institute of Municipal Clerks, outstanding clerk by the township officials of Cook County, and rookie city clerk of the year by the municipal clerks of Illinois. And whereas Clerk Green has served the citizens of the entire city with distinction, giving freely of his time, energy, and ability. Now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Evanston, Cook County, Illinois, Section 1, that the City Council does hereby express great appreciation to Clerk Rodney Green for his service to the city and regrets to the occasion of his retirement. Section 2, that a copy of this resolution executed by the mayor and attested to by the city clerk be sent to Clerk Green, signed Elizabeth B. Tisdall, Mayor, attested by the Deputy City Clerk. And now, Madam Mayor, Alderman Nguyen and Alderman Rainey will make the presentations of awards to you.
Mayor Tisdall, this is a resolution 47R17 upon the occasion of the retirement of Mayor Elizabeth B. Tisdall. Whereas Elizabeth B. Tisdall served the city of Evanston as alderman of the 7th Ward from 2003 to 2009 and as mayor from 2009 to 2017. And whereas Mayor Elizabeth B. Tisdall has served the citizens of the entire city with distinction, giving freely of her time, energy, and knowledge. And whereas Elizabeth B. Tisdall's accomplishments while mayor of the city of Evanston are numerous. Some of her most important work includes enhancing the mayor's summer youth employment program, which employs hundreds of youth each year, improving the city's relationship with Northwestern University, and creating a partnership for a skilled trades program providing 100% employment rate, negotiating a multi-decade water sale agreements with surrounding communities, approving a contract for 100% green power for Evanston residents and small businesses, securing funding for the Neighborhood Stabilization Program 2 grant, bringing Erie Evanston Skokie Healthcare to Evanston to provide affordable care, and enacting the Evanston Welcoming City Ordinance. And whereas Mayor Elizabeth B. Tisdall has served as a member of the following bodies in various capacities: United States Conference of Mayors, Northwest Municipal Conference, Evanston Community Foundation Advisory Committee, and the Mayor's Water Council. And now, therefore, be it resolved by the City of Evanston of the City Council of the City of Evanston, Cook County, Illinois, Section 1, that the City Council does hereby express great appreciation to Mayor Elizabeth B. Tisdall for her service to the city and sincerely regrets the occasion of her retirement. Section 2, that a copy of this resolution, attested to by the city clerk, be sent to Mayor Tisdall, signed by Peter Braithwaite, Mayor Pro Tem, and attested by Rodney Green, City Clerk, May 8th, 2017. Thank you.
So I was going to say all that also. That was in my speech. I didn't know it was in that speech. But then I thought none of that is as important as who you are as a person. This is going to be hard. You're the kindest, most thoughtful, most hardworking, honest, decent, sharing, generous, inclusive, least judgmental human being I've ever met. This city is so lucky to have had you.
No, I'm going to cry. Oh, I got a gavel.
This in honor of the contributions you've made to the city of Evanston.
Thank you very much. That's so good. That's perfect because my gavel finally broke. Okay. Oh, thank you.
Are you going to speak?
No, I'm not going to make. I'm crying now that you got me going.
I have to have your flowers, too. Here, so Judy can have a picture of you with your flowers.
That's all right. You did good.
You did good. It's really hard to.
Mayor Tisdall, I'd like to ask Dave Stonebeck, our Public Works Agency Director, to come up. Many of you, I think, know, or if you didn't know, you know tonight, Mayor Tisdall takes her water very seriously. And a couple of years ago, we were at an event celebrating, I think it was the 100th anniversary of potable water in Evanston. We're sorry you missed many of you there, but it was an important occasion. And at that time, the water plant staff presented Mayor Tisdall with this, what was it exactly? It was a brass plate, and what was it from?
It was from the 1913 filters.
See, the 1913 filters, brass
I'm very
plate.
excited by it.
And so Mayor Tisdall and I have spent many hours driving places, and we have spent many hours driving to Springfield. And on our last trip to Springfield, we got to talking about what would you like to go? Would you like a plaque? Would you like a clock? What would you like? And she said, you remember, Wally, that thing from the water plant? That was just the neatest thing I've gotten ever as mayor. And I went back to Dave and I said, Dave, we need to find another neat thing from the water plant. And so, Mayor, we have found another neat thing from the water plant, but this time was a little bit different. We asked some local artists to take this neat thing and make a piece of art out of it. So on behalf of your staff, hold on. So it has engraved on it Mayor Tisdall, City of Evanston. It says diversity, sustainability, equity, inclusion, responsibility. And Dave, tell us what this is.
It's a bearing coupling that came from one of the pumps at the pumping station that holds the shaft between the motor and the pump together.
Now, those are quiz on that later. So, Mayor Tisdall, we hope that when you look at this, you'll be able to recite that fact to everyone who visits.
Can I get the mic back? I think it is definitely a unique, cool thing. And I would like to say that when I first heard discussions of naming part of the water plant after me, that I said it should be named the Stonebeck Tisdall Water Plant filtration, whatever. But then I heard, Dave, that you would have to retire, so we're not naming anything after Stonebeck. That's not for a long time. So thank you very much. Steve, I hope you have as great a council and as much fun as I've had. Who do we start with? Next is call of the wards, Alderman Revelle.
Gosh, I get to be first. Well, I'm going to start with Alderman Miller. And I remember how you were the first person on the council to reach out to me and invite me to get together and talk about life on the city council. I really appreciated your welcoming me that way, and I'll miss you. You've certainly raised some important questions for us to discuss, and I'm sure we'll be continuing that conversation. So thank you very much. I had to write out something for Dolores here. So Dolores, you've been such a powerful example to all of us in the whole community about how to step up and how to take ownership, which I think is a word I associate with you, and make a difference for our community. You've always been a willing partner and a connector, helping bring people together to really do something, make good things happen for Evanston. And my earliest memories of you go back to the 1980s, before you were on the council, and I would hear about you admiringly from my dear friend and predecessor in this seat, 7th Ward seat, Marge Collins, who worked with you to set up the Foster Reading Center. She talked about you a lot. And now, for these past 15 months, I've had the pleasure and honor of serving with you and benefiting directly from your wisdom and your long experience and helping us with our deliberations and our decisions. I think perhaps the most important example you've set for all of us is how we really need to own the whole community and think about, in the decisions we make sure that we're thinking about the whole community. I know you've been counting the days for this moment, and we certainly wish you the best in your deserved retirement, but we will miss you very, very much. Okay. Thank you. City Clerk Rodney Green, I've only had the pleasure of serving with you, far less time than my colleagues, but it's been a pleasure. I really appreciate your support and your very gentle nature, and you've always had a really nice smile and a twinkle in your eye that's helped liven things up for us. So I really appreciated getting to know you. Thank you very much. And Madam Mayor, it's going to be hard to say not Madam Mayor when we say that word again. So first, on a personal note, thank you for tapping me to be 7th Ward Alderman. It's been a privilege to represent the 7th Ward these past 15 months. In the process, I've learned so much, not only about the inner workings of city government, obviously, but when you're an alderman, you have an opportunity to meet people and learn more about the community in ways you never can if you're not in this position. I really appreciated that. And then speaking more broadly, I admire you so much for the many important initiatives that you have launched for Evanston. You've really moved us forward, I think, towards becoming a truly livable city for everyone. I mean, I think about the hundreds of young people who've gotten their first successful job through the enhanced Mayor's Summer Youth Employment Program, the hundreds of families who have access to affordable, quality health care at the Erie Health Center. And we all really appreciate the positive relationship that you've helped establish between the city and Northwestern. So thank you so much for your support and your compassionate leadership of our community. We really miss you. Thank you.
Alderman Rainey.
Thank you.
Sorry. I thought you were going to just take over.
No, we're very careful to follow your direction. Alderman Miller, I'm going to see your predecessor next weekend, and she said to make sure that I said good luck to you. So thank you very much. Rodney, I want to say that you have been such a gentleman, and I appreciate all the new things that you've done in the clerk's office, especially the passports and the help that you've given everybody that comes in there and the people that work with you. They have been very, very helpful, and thank you for the effort that you've made in training them. And I've never been disappointed, and everybody who goes there has always been very, very pleased. Dolores, you, my moral compass, that's what you are. And I have no intention of letting you get out of my life, and hopefully we'll be together a lot. And Mark, who's not here tonight, like him a lot, and hopefully we'll see him around a lot. And Liz, just look forward to seeing you a lot also, and thank you for everything.
I look forward to hanging out with all of you, too.
I mean, you've been just a fabulous mayor.
Thank you. Alderman Miller.
So I was lucky in law school to study under Dawn Clark Metch, and she said the words that stuck with me since then were, you don't run for office to be something, you run for office to do something. I really have tried to live by that maxim on the council, and I just want to say thank you to city staff for all the help, my colleagues on the council as well for all the support, and I also want to really thank the public. It's an interesting job. There's a lot of things you don't see on the council, but it's really that you don't see that happen on the council behind the scenes, but it's always great to have the public support. We're in the business to actually make your lives better, and I hope that my service here did so in certain ways. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Fisk.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Alderman Miller, I said some things about you before, and I absolutely believe every single one of them. Interesting remarks that you just made. I just want to say to my colleagues on the council, when I came to the council, I was an outsider, and I know what it feels like to be an outsider and not part of the establishment. But it also gives you some freedom. It gives you some freedom to talk about things that are maybe a little bit off center, a little bit new, a little bit challenging. And Alderman Miller, you've done that, and you've done that for us. And I know sometimes it's made people uncomfortable, but that's good. That's really good, and I appreciate that, and I've tried to encourage my colleagues on the council, especially when they were a little uncomfortable, to really embrace that, because that's the way we learn. That's the way we really step out of our comfort zone and consider new directions or new ways of thinking. And I will miss you very much for that. I'll also miss you because you're right across the way, and I get to make eye contact with you all the time, so we can kind of make faces at things. But that really is very meaningful to me. So again, thank you, and I hope we'll see each other from time to time. Alderman Holmes, oh my gosh. I've learned an incredible amount from you. You've been so steady. You've been like a rock. We share ward boundaries, and I've always been able to just pick up the phone and call you, and you've answered, and you've always been extraordinarily patient. But you've always been true to your word. And that's really unusual. I mean, it's really a good thing.
It's all I have.
And I want you to know how important that was to me, and how much trust I have in you. And thank you for that. And I will miss you a lot. I'll call you up anyway and ask you what you think about that stuff. Clerk Green, I have always felt very welcome in your office, and I know I just breeze in and say with some incredible request, but everyone in your office, including yourself, and especially the staff that you've hired, incredibly competent, incredibly helpful, incredibly patient, and I know you've done that when you've been busy, but you haven't acted at all like it was an imposition. You've always been extremely generous, and I will never forget that, and I hope the new clerk can do that half as well as you, but you will be very, very much missed. And Mayor Tisdall, I breeze into your office too. Every time I'm going down the stairway and I see your door open, I would always come in or lean my head around the corner or wave at you, and you would always, if you could, wave me in, and we would sit and talk about things, whatever was on my mind. And that kind of welcome to me was extremely important. And I thank you for that. And I thank you for every time a concern came up, like the one you mentioned earlier, you were right on top of it. You said, I'm right there for you, and you were every time. And that means a lot, not only to me, but the residents in my ward who really need advocates. And it was wonderful for me to be able to tell them that I had the mayor's support in something and that you had their backs. So thank you so much for all of your wisdom, the help that you've given me, the patience that you've shown me, and your open door policy. Much, much, much appreciated.
Thank you. Alderman Braithwaite.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Remember, I appointed you.
Yes. The best decision she ever made. Ask her, she'll tell you. First, I'd like to start with Clerk Green. Clerk Green, thank you for your years of service to the Evanston community. It's been mentioned before the level of service that your office has performed over the many years to the citizens of Evanston. I don't think that that could be said enough. And I'd also like to thank you for the innovation that you've brought to the office. I think you've definitely taken it to a new level. So I will miss our spicy conversations and seeing you in the halls, but I know that you will be here in Evanston, and I look forward to continuing to know you. Alderman Miller speaking, using the word spice. I'm going to miss our late night phone calls. And when you jumped on council, what I can appreciate, I was no longer the youngest member, number one. And I really appreciated the support that you brought to the police matters. These are tough issues that we face, and I think you've been very outspoken, and you've brought in a level of awareness, and I hope that you stay involved in those matters beyond council. Next to Alderman Holmes, who thank you. We've known each other since '95 when we first met again with I Have a Dream, and you were like a mother and a very good mentor, and you've always challenged me even at an early age, and having the opportunity to serve with you on council has been absolutely amazing. Even when we don't see eye to eye, which is very seldom, I don't think anyone noticed, but you've always been direct and honest with me, and I'm really going to miss that. We've made a lot of progress in the Second Ward, whether it's economic development or with the youth. You've always been there very strong and very supportive of the work and the things that we're passionate about. So I'm looking forward to see what you do with retirement. I remember when you retired from Family Focus, and here you are on City Council. So I don't know what your next chapter is going to look like, but I know that your service to the Evanston community isn't over. And I don't tell you this enough, but I truly do love you, and I appreciate all the support. And to Madam Mayor, again, one of the best decisions you've made. Having an opportunity to work with you and Alderman Holmes again in '95 with Rajoy when I first came back to Evanston after college has been amazing. You were the second person that I talked to regarding City Council following the phone call from Lionel to tell me that he was going to retire, and you've always been supportive and honest. And for the new members of the public, you know, the mayor, she does so many things, including when you get in trouble, she takes you to lunch. And I've only had 2 lunch dates with you in the full 5 years, but your words of wisdom and encouragement, even during some difficult times, I will never forget that. And I just want to thank you as well for being a mother to me on council, and a very special person that I'll always love and cherish. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Nguyen.
Oh, I don't like this night. Alderman Miller, thank you very much for your service. Thank you for bringing a new approach and new ideas to the council. I think we will all work on those issues that you raised, and I appreciate that, and I appreciate your service. Clerk Green, thank you for your smile, your sense of humor, your professionalism, the way you've run the office, and especially the people that you've hired. I've never walked into the clerk's office without being helped, and helped in more ways than I even needed. So I will miss you very much, and I wish you well.
Thank you.
Alderman Holmes, I've said this many times over the last few months at many campaign coffees and at many meetings. I have regarded you as the moral compass of the council during your time of service. I've learned so much from you. Your dedication to Evanston is matched only by a very few. And as you have said, we've all been quoting from you here tonight. You can see that. We're going to have to figure out our own moral compass without you, and that's going to be a challenge. And so we'll all be calling you on the phone a lot. Mayor Tisdall, you have served Evanston for so long. You were on the District 202 board, you were 6 years an alderman, and now you've been the mayor for 8 years. Your dedication to Evanston and for making Evanston a better place is like Alderman Holmes. It's so rare. And I think many of us don't realize the degree to which our lives have been touched and improved by the work of Alderman Holmes and Mayor Tisdall. I think they have been so much a part of our lives for so long, making wise, smart decisions that we don't realize just how much they've done for us. Many people may not realize that under that quiet reserve of Mayor Tisdall is a brilliant strategic thinker and a powerful force for positive change. You are the reason why we have been such a strong council that has gotten so much done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alderman Wilson.
Thank you. In addition to the individuals who are moving along, I'm going to miss the group. I'm going to miss this collective group that we've been working with together. It's evolved over the years, but one of the things I consider myself most fortunate in is that I work with a devoted group of individuals, and the sincerity with which they do their work is unmatched. The passion that everybody at this table and the table in the next room brings to the conversation is unmatched, and I really didn't expect that when I first ran. And I think back to what I thought it was going to be like, but this deliberative process and the work that we do, we don't always agree. We don't always agree on how to do things, but we all agree, and everybody up here works tirelessly to make this a better community for everybody. And that's one of the things I most appreciate. Alderman Holmes, you gave me my very first advice when I got to the council, and I'm not going to share the details of the advice, but it was excellent advice because it was an aspect of things that I was feeling a little lost on, but I greatly appreciate that. And it was intimidating when I got here. You've got this lifetime of service, and I'm like, it's Alderman Holmes. I don't want to mess up in front of her, but. I feel very fortunate to have had the opportunity to work with you. Conversations we've had, watching you work, watching you in the community, watching you, the way that you talk to people and engage with others. It's very powerful, and I appreciate that. Alderman Miller, you haven't had as much time to, be with us, but we've spent an awful lot of time having conversations. When you got here, we talked a lot, and those conversations were good for me because they brought out a lot of things. You do the job for a while and you get comfortable with certain aspects, and some things fall outside of your field of vision. And that was one of the things that I think that you really helped me kind of regroup on and refocus on different aspects, and I very much appreciate that. You care deeply about the community and you care deeply about issues, and I know that you're going to continue to be engaged, and I'm looking forward to working with you in other ways. Clerk Green, the one idea that kind of occurs to me is that I can count on you, and I appreciate that in any person. You've done a lot of great things in the clerk's office. We've had a bunch of conversations over the years about different things. I appreciate the passport service. I appreciate the online services, but mostly I appreciate the fact that I can count on you, and I've been able to count on you since you've been here, and I'm grateful for that. Mayor, Alderman Rainey said some things, and I think that she kind of hit it on the any better than I could say, but it's the person that you are. It's not the things that you've done, and it's the person that you are that drives all of this success and the accomplishments you've achieved. Your character is an example to all of us. We've ridden train rides together. I think I only had one lunch. Maybe that's good. I was thinking back, like, how many lunches did I have? Maybe one. There's probably more. I might have blocked them out. But again, you've devoted a lifetime of service to our community, and it's a much better place for that. And we are all grateful, and I appreciate your time and energies. And I'm still looking forward to working with you on an ongoing basis. So thank you.
Thank you. And we end as we should with Alderman Holmes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Wow, I won't say that anymore. Let me just first say to the community, it has been my pleasure and my honor to serve. I really appreciate each and every one of you, not just the Fifth Ward residents, but residents of Evanston. I really feel that this is our community, and I think I've tried to serve you all. I also want to say to City Manager and the city staff, who have been so supportive and so helpful in helping all of us navigate this thing called city government. And since you came on board, Wally, I just want to say that we have sailed, and I am so proud of where you have guided us as a council to go far beyond what probably any of us thought, at least for me, and I go back to 2005 of thinking where we were then and where we are now, and I'm just very, very proud of our city, and thank you for that leadership. I want to say Clerk Green is my partner to the right, and he does tell jokes, you all. He keeps me laughing up here, and if you don't know him, he has a gorgeous voice. And he and I have this joke, because I would tell him I'm going to tell Lynn when he's eating wrong. So we watch out for each other, so we laugh a lot. And I will miss that, Rodney, and I really do appreciate you. And you have really enhanced the city clerk's office. And I think we all appreciate that and love your staff. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
My partner who's missing tonight, this is my seat partner for the last 8 years, Mark Tindem, and I would be remiss if I didn't say how much I respected and love Mark. He is such a great guy. If you don't know him, you should. And he kept me laughing all the time, and I would say to him, please don't do that. I'm going to laugh while I'm sitting up here, and people are going to know that I'm not taking care of business. And he would still tell me something very funny that I just have to drop my head. So I will miss Mark so very, very much. Alderman Revelle, I do remember all those years back, and I have watched you in the community and how you care about the community, and I know that, and I really do feel that the 7th Ward, as well as the city of Evanston, is in very good hands. It's been wonderful to work with you, and you're very quiet and soft, but you know what you're doing, so I really respect that, and I want you to know that. Alderman Rainey, I tell everyone, I am a better city council member because of you. I learned so much from you in terms of how to advocate for my own ward and for the city. It amazes me, all of the stuff that is in your head, all of the ordinances, every zoning thing. I mean, you know them all. And I admire that so much, and I've tried to use those things to enhance what I needed to do. This city just really doesn't know how valuable you are to the city as a whole in terms of really fighting for and making sure that we're getting a good deal wherever we are. And Howard Street is going to be fabulous when you're finished with it, and I know that. Alderman Miller, you are the youngest on the group, and with the youngest tenure as well. And I remember sitting in the automatic library with you and your son and holding him and talking to you. And I want you to know that I think there's generations between us, and I think sometimes that's part of the issue maybe. But I want you to know I heard you in terms of the issues that you are concerned about, and I think that we just have different approaches. But I really have enjoyed working with you, and I really do appreciate your point of view as well. Alderman Fisk, I knew you from the community before, but I have enjoyed working with you these last 8 years and sharing ward borders with you and trying to make improvements. And I know that sometimes our approaches might be different, but I think that we want the same thing for the ward and for the city, and that's what's important. my son. I will miss you. I will miss looking down and giving you the evil eye. And you know what it means. Alderman Brathwaite, I really do appreciate the relationship and the borders that we share and the work that we've done together to try to improve the 2nd and the 5th Ward. And I know that you will carry that on with the new alderman sitting here. So important. We're on the west side, and we have to make sure that that share is always coming that way as well. And that has improved vastly over the years. And just to continue, it takes advocating for it all the time. But thank you so very much. I've learned so much from you, too. The young people have to bring me along sometimes, especially the language. And so he does that for me. Alderman Nguyen, you too. You and Alderman Rainey and Alderman then Tisdall, before she became mayor, the only 3 people that were here when I came. And, so I had a different approach maybe with the 3 of you, because I look to you for guidance, and I've learned from you as well. And I really do appreciate getting to know you, getting to work with you, and getting to appreciate the different styles that we all have, and to be able to accept that. I truly believe that all we have to do is listen to other people, respect what they bring to the table, and we'll make it. That's all it takes. It's as simple as that. Alderman Wilson, I'm always wondering, well, what is he going to do? I have to say that. I have to say that. But you always surprise me with something, and I really do. I really appreciate that. I know that there's some still unfinished business that we need to talk about in terms of landlords and that kind of stuff, and I'm going to leave that for you all to figure out. But I really do appreciate that, and I really do appreciate your insight into understanding all sides of it, and it takes all sides to make it work for the community. So I hope that you all will work on that, make sure that everybody is doing their fair share and owning their part of it so that it is better for the community. And lastly, but not least, the mayor. Mayor Tisdall, Ann did say it very well, in terms of your kindness, your generosity, your caring. I don't know if the whole community realizes the kinds of things that you do to try to make life better for everyone in this community. You and I have walked blocks. We have visited families when people have died. We have attended funerals together. We've hugged. We've cried with them. Whatever the occasion called for, you were there. And I appreciate that so much. I think that probably everyone on the council feels that you were just there for them, because you have that way of doing it, being there for all of us and letting us know that you're there for whatever we need. And I truly appreciated that as a council member. I appreciated that as a person. And we go back to the 90s when at the high school and Mothers Against Gangs and all of that kind of stuff. So I knew you before. I didn't know about your sense of humor, though, until I got on the council. It's so dry and it's so funny. You are such a funny person, and I don't think people know that. And to appreciate you in that respect has been wonderful for me. I will miss that, but I will be in the community, and I'm not going to lose touch with you. That I promise. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Clerk Green, you're included in Call of the Wards.
Oh, I get a voice. Well, it's been a great 9 years. I know in the council we've had our ups and downs, some disagreements with Ann when it first started, but we became good friends. I just want to say that the time I've served her has been a privilege and an honor. And as I've said before, all my work was all about you, the citizens of Evanston. I did my best. I made improvements. I tried to do things that you needed to be done. And I was your voice, even though you didn't hear it up here. I just want to say thank you for all your support. And I'm going to be around. I'll be back at the council, and I'll be watching all of y'all. So I will be able to talk then. I couldn't talk up here. Didn't have a vote, but we'll have a voice in the cities, in the in the city right soon. I just love you all. Hope you're the best. I wish the best for everybody, and I'm gonna miss being up here. Thanks for your support. Thanks for your trust in me in being your city clerk for the past 9 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Could we have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.
Meeting ended at
Ladies and gentlemen, we now have a very difficult task, and I ask for your assistance. We need to clear the council chambers so that the family, people who've come from all over the United States to celebrate with their alderman and new mayor can have an opportunity to sit in the chambers. So if we could ask everyone to go out into the ante room, we have food and drink, and we'll reopen the council chambers probably in about 10 minutes. So thank you for understanding. Please leave the chambers at this point, and we'll reopen in about 10 minutes.
All right, as mayor of the city of Evanston for one more minute, I would like to call this meeting to order. And Steve, I have a present for you that you're going to need before you get sworn in. So Mayor Morton gave me one of these when I became mayor. Here you go.
All right. I thought you just said it was broken.
Mine broke just in time after 8 years. All right, Reverend Jones, where are you? Here you go.
Good evening. You are all very good people. Don't forget it. Alderman, clerk, and mayor, I did not know the root meaning of these words till I looked it up in the etymological dictionary. And in case you didn't know, here it is. Alderman, from the Old English word ald, which means old. Clerk, where is he? From the Latin word meaning clergy. Mayor, from the Latin word maior, meaning greater. My advice to those of you being sworn into these three offices tonight is don't take the root meaning of these words too seriously. Because you all, aldermen and alderwomen, you're not old. You are not clergy. And you are not great. But please do take these offices, if you don't take the root word meanings seriously, please do take these offices very seriously. And I will leave you with 3 thoughts and a prayer, and I hope they help. Number 1. Remember that you have all been issued 1 mouth and 2 ears, and there is a reason for that. Number 2, when engaging others, especially difficult others, avoid questioning their motives, but always be monitoring your own. And number 3, never assume that these offices, aldermen or alderwomen, clerk or mayor, belong to you, because they don't. They belong to us, and we are loaning them to you. So take good care of them, because you are very good people. Let us pray. Generous Creator and Companion, may the spirit of gentle wisdom, humble candor, energetic calmness, and the deep wisdom of the obvious descend upon these men and women who enter these offices of service to us, for us, and most importantly, with us. Amen. Thank you in advance.
Not me anymore.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Nice try.
Mayor Morton.
There you go.
Oh, I go first? Okay. Oh, excuse me. Yes, just one page. Be careful. Steve? Yes. Mrs. Haggerty, would you like to join your husband? Kids, would you like to come up? Oh, boy. You come closer to me. Yeah, oh, this is great. Now, will you raise your right hand and repeat after me? I, and your entire name,
I, Stephen Howard Haggerty,
having been elected to the office of mayor
having been elected to the office of mayor
in the city of Evanston, in the county of Cook, aforesaid,
in the city of Evanston in the county of Cook, aforesaid,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of mayor to the best of my ability.
and that I will faithfully discharge the mayor's of duty, the duties of mayor to the best of my ability.
Ladies and gentlemen, our new mayor.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can take your... Thank you.
Can we do a little quick picture?
Yes, we'd love to. All right. Thank you.
All right, kids, don't worry. All right. Thank you.
Okay, that's great.
All right. It is truly an honor to be the mayor of this great city. I'd like to call up Devon Reed, our new city clerk. As is part of the tradition here in Evanston, we recite the Athenian Oath of Citizenship. So, Devon, if you'll recite with me, or recite after me. We will ever strive for the ideal and sacred things.
We will ever strive for the ideal and sacred things
of the city.
Of the city.
Both alone and with many.
Both alone and with many.
We will unceasingly seek to quicken.
We will unceasingly seek to quicken.
The sense of public duty.
The sense of public duty.
We will revere and obey.
We will revere and obey.
The city's laws.
The city's laws.
And will transmit this city not less.
And will transmit this city not less.
But greater and more beautiful.
But greater and more beautiful.
Than when it was transmitted to us.
Than when it was transmitted to us.
Thank you.
And for this one, I raise my left hand.
All right, if you raise your left hand. Oath of the office. I, Devon Reed.
I, Devon Reed.
Having been elected to the office of city clerk.
Having been elected to the office of city clerk.
In the city of Evanston.
In the city of Evanston.
In the county of Cook.
In the county of Cook, aforesaid.
Do solemnly affirm.
Do solemnly affirm.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
And the Constitution of the State of Illinois.
And the Constitution of the State of Illinois.
And that I will faithfully discharge the duties of city clerk to the best of my ability.
And I will faithfully discharge the duties of city clerk to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. I'm now going to ask the 80th City Council to please come up to the what do you guys call this? I guess the bowl or the, yes. We're going to do the Athenian oath. We're going to show some efficiency here. We're going to do the Athenian oath together right up here in the front, all of us, including me. All right, yeah, and let's stand sort of in order from first ward to ninth ward. All right. All right, if you guys would, again, you all have the Athenian oath. All right, we're going to say it together. And again, as part of our tradition here in Evanston, we repeat the Athenian oath of citizenship. We will, please raise your left hand while you do this, everyone. We will ever strive for the ideal. We're going to say this all together. And the sacred things of the city, both alone and with many, we will unceasingly seek to quicken the sense of public duty. We will revere and obey the city's laws, and we will transmit this city not less, but greater and more beautiful than it was transmitted to us. All right, if we become a choir, we'll work on it a little more, but good. All right. So we are now going to administer the oath of duty to each of the aldermen. We'll start with the first ward alderman, Judy Fisk. I'm going to give the mic to you this
Okay.
time. I'm getting better each time.
Oops, that goes with that. Thank you, Wally. Left hand.
Left hand.
Okay.
I, Judy Fisk,
I, Judy Fisk,
having been elected to the office of alderman of the first ward
having been elected to the office of Alderman of the First Ward
in the city of Evanston and in the county of Cook, aforesaid,
in the city of Evanston and the county of Cook, aforesaid,
do solemnly affirm
that
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of alderman
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of Alderman
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations,
Thank you very much.
Judy. You're better in the council. All right. All right. Oh. Excuse me. Yep. Let me give this back to Judy. All right. Peter, do you have one? Come on. Hi, Claudia. You really did do that, didn't you? All right. It's a good-looking family there. All right. Let's see. I'm going to take the oath, and then I'm going to give it back to you. All right. I, Peter Braithwaite,
I, Peter Braithwaite,
having been elected to the office of alderman of the second ward
having been elected to the office of the Second Ward
in the city of Evanston,
in the city of Evanston,
in the county of Cook, aforesaid,
in the county of Cook, aforesaid,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of alderman
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of alderman
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations, Peter. Look forward to doing it with you. All right. Want to get this one photo together? Oh. Pretty heavy. And I'm going to say, if you want somebody up here, you can have them come on up here. Peter? There you go. Get up here, David. All right. Yeah, and then I'll give this. Yeah, and I'll give them both back to you. All right. All right. If you would raise your left hand, Melissa. I, Melissa Wynn,
I, Melissa Wynn,
having been elected to the office of Alderman of the Third Ward
having been elected to the office of Alderman of the Third Ward
in the city of Evanston,
in the city of Evanston,
in the county of Cook, aforesaid,
in the county of Cook, aforesaid,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of alderman
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of Alderman
to the best of my abilities.
to the best of my abilities. Thank you very much.
I look forward to serving you.
Great.
All right, you guys want to?
All right. Good did it.
Okay, so let's see. There we go. All right, Dawn. Do you want anybody up here? Okay. All right, if you raise your left hand. I, Donald Wilson,
I, Donald Wilson,
having been elected to the office of Alderman of the 4th Ward
having been elected to the office of Alderman of the 4th Ward
in the city of Evanston,
in the city of Evanston,
in the county of Cook aforesaid,
in the county of Cook aforesaid,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Alderman
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Alderman
to the best of my abilities.
to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations, Don. All right. There you go. Good job. All right. Do you want anybody up here with you? You good? Anybody up with you? There we go. Bring it up. All right.
Caitlin.
Hey, Bailey.
Caitlin.
All right. You good? You got everybody?
Yeah.
All right. If you'd raise your left hand, Robin. I, Robin Rue Simmons,
I, Robin Rue Simmons,
having been elected to the office of Alderman of the 5th Ward
having been elected to the office of Alderman of the 5th Ward
in the city of Evanston,
in the city of Evanston,
in the county of Cook aforesaid,
in the county of Cook aforesaid,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Alderman
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Alderman
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Look forward to working with you. All right. All right. You want a picture with your family and everything here?
Yes. Surround her.
I think that's what we're doing. Oh, this way. There we go.
Oh. Okay, thank you.
You're going to take that.
I know which camera to look at.
Congratulations. All right, Tom. Congratulations to you. Excellent, excellent. All right. Okay.
I think she may have a crying baby.
You have somebody here?
My
Tom?
wife and our
Let's get her.
daughter.
You sure
are,
get up here. They don't want to be up here?
In the back.
You sure?
I see her. She's way back there. She's.
All
It's
right,
illegal.
she's not.
Or maybe she's coming this way.
Here she comes.
Okay.
All right, we're going to, yeah.
All right, we'll do
This
this.
is what we should be doing. Yay! Woo! This is good.
This is good.
All right.
Let's do it.
All right. I, Thomas Suffredin,
I, Thomas Suffredin,
having been elected to the office of Alderman of the 6th Ward
having been elected to the office of Alderman of the 6th Ward
of the city of Evanston,
of the city of Evanston,
in the county of Cook
in
aforesaid,
the county of Cook aforesaid,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Alderman
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Alderman
to the best of my
to the
abilities.
best of my abilities.
Congratulations. Hey, all right. You guys have to have a photo with us. All right.
All right, awesome.
All right, you guys. Congratulations. All right. Hi. All right. All right, we are. Oh, good. All right, so Eleanor, you're gonna have the mic.
Okay.
All right,
All right.
stand up. I, Eleanor Revelle,
I, Eleanor Revelle,
having been elected to the office of Alderman of the 7th Ward
having been elected to the office of Alderman of the 7th Ward
in the city of Evanston,
in the city of Evanston,
in the county of Cook Aforesaid,
in the county of Cook aforesaid,
that happened to me too, do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Alderman
that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Alderman
to the best of my abilities.
to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations. Look forward to serving with you. All right. You guys want a photo or anything?
Sure. I have to go sign it, right? Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
You want anybody to come up? No. You're good? All right. You're going to repeat after. You've done this a lot. Let's see. Who we kidding?
She's
here?
got it memorized.
That's good. Let's see.
That's not it.
No, we want to find this one. Ann Rainey. Yep. All right. I, Ann Rainey,
I, Ann Rainey,
having been elected to the office of Alderman of the 8th Ward
having been elected to the office of Alderman of the 8th Ward
in the city of Evanston,
in the city of Evanston,
in the county of Cook Aforesaid,
in the county of Cook aforesaid,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Alderman
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of Alderman
to the best of my abilities.
to the best of my ability.
I look forward to working with you.
Let's do it.
All right, a photo here. All right, and then you'll take this over there and sign it. All right, you guys. Great. Good. All right. If you'd raise your left hand. I, Cicely Fleming,
I, Cicely Fleming,
having been elected to the office of Alderman of the 9th Ward
having been elected to the office of Alderman of the 9th Ward
in the city of Evanston,
in the city of Evanston,
in the county of Cook Aforesaid,
in the county of Cook aforesaid,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the state of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Alderman
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of Alderman
to the best of my abilities.
to the best of my abilities.
So they moved us out of the way.
Thank you, thank you.
City Clerk, would you call the roll?
Alderman Ravel. Alderman Rainey.
Here.
Alderman Fleming.
Here.
Alderman Fisk. Alderman Braithwaite. Alderman Nguyen. Alderman Wilson. Alderman Simmons-Rue.
Here.
Alderman Sufferton. Here. You have a quorum.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 80th City Council of the City of Evanston, Illinois. Our first meeting will be an efficient meeting. We're going to move right to call of the wards, and we'll start with our first ward alderman, Judy Fisk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Boy, that's pardon us if we revert to Madam Mayor, but Mr. Mayor sounds good to me. Thank you, everybody, for coming tonight, and thank you to my colleagues on the council, both former and new colleagues on the council. This is a wonderful evening, and I don't know, for those of us who ran with opposition, we were usually so busy we couldn't pay attention to how the other races were going, but because we were so focused on our own race. The first thing I want to do tonight is to thank the members of my team who are absolutely incredible. We've been together for a long time. We've done pretty well so far. You all are out there, and I love you all. I'm just amazed at what we've done. We were outspent 5-1. There was some pretty awful stuff going on the internet, and it targeted at us. And like Michelle Obama says, when they go low, we went high. And I'm extremely proud of the race that we ran and won. This is a very big privilege for me to serve the First Ward. I know the ward fairly well. I have set priorities in the ward to be an independent voice, to protect the lakefront, to ensure balanced and promote development in the downtown and throughout the ward. It's worked pretty well so far, and doing that all while keeping everyone in my ward engaged in the process. So I want to thank you all. We work together as a team. Everyone in the ward has to come and participate at ward meetings and neighborhood meetings that we have, and we will continue to do that for the next 4 years. So thank you all very much. I'm going to write a book about this one, you guys, and everything that we've learned. But thank you all. It's a great honor and privilege to serve you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, I want to start off by thanking my family. This has been a tremendous honor to be able to serve the citizens of Evanston, and without a doubt, there's no way I could do it without my wife, Claudia, in support of my family and my sisters in the back row somewhere who didn't stand up, but representing my mother as well. Secondly, to the new council members, I'm looking forward to serving with you all, getting to know you, and learning what issues are important to you. I think one of many wise words that the mayor shared with me when I first started, she asked me the question, do you want to be a good alderman for your ward or the city of Evanston? And my response at that time was both. And so I hope that you accept that challenge and understand the difference between the two. As well, I look forward to serving with Alderman Fisk, Alderman Nguyen, and Wilson and Ravel, who we've spent some good time together. And I can't forget Ann. Are you kidding me? As well as Alderman Rainey. We have a lot of wonderful things to do together. To the residents of the Second Ward, this Thursday, we have our regularly scheduled Second Ward meeting where we'll be discussing the Main Street improvements. That's going to be at the District of 65 building starting at 7 and ending promptly at 9. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Peter. Alderman Nguyen.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do want to thank also everyone who's come out this evening and sat through this long, complicated meeting. I don't know who else is out there from my campaign, but I do want to say thank you to you. And also I want to say a special thanks to my husband, David Foster, and to our good friend, Baxter Swilley, because I would not be here without both of you. My husband has become the best non-professional campaign manager that I know of. Right, yeah. He retired and then he had to do this. So I look forward to working with each of you and all of us together on this new council. We have some exciting times coming towards us. We have to keep Evanston economically healthy, keep us affordable, keep us the most livable city in the United States. We're getting closer and closer up on those lists. So there are a lot of exciting challenges, and I do look forward to meeting with each of you and hearing each of your concerns so that we can continue the really good work that we've been doing for so long. So welcome, and welcome back to my other colleagues. Thank you.
Alderman Wilson.
Thank you. And I also want to thank my wife Cheryl and my family, because without their support doing this job, it simply wouldn't be an option. So I'm just so grateful for their support of me over these years. And I want to thank the voters in the 4th Ward who have given me this opportunity. It's a privilege to be working for you. It's a privilege to be working for Evanston. And as we wrapped up the last meeting, I said a few words about how much I was going to miss the group and working with the group. But that said, I am very, very excited to be working with this new group. I've gotten acquainted with everybody who's up here. I think it's a terrific group of individuals who is just as devoted as the people who've been serving before. And I think we're going to continue on an excellent path and get a lot done and really build a stronger community in Evanston. So thank you.
Alderman Ruth Simmons.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have to thank everyone that helped me get to this point. All of our campaign volunteers, my family. I could not have done any of this without you. I'm so grateful for you. And I want to thank the entire Evanston community. Through the campaign process, of course, I was able to speak with 5th Ward residents, but really speaking with Evanston in general and understanding how concerned all the residents are for the 5th Ward was very inspiring and encouraging. So I'm fired up to be up here in this position. And I can say that in observing council over the last year, I've learned a lot from each of you that have been serving already, and everyone new incoming and those that are already here. I admire you in different ways, and I'm really honored to be here and to be able to serve with you and make sure that the 5th Ward is as livable as the rest of Evanston. Thank you.
Alderman Suffredin.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would just like to thank my mom, who's here, my wife, Claire, and our daughter, Emma, who have left, our kids, Josephine, Will, and Patrick, who are at home, my dad, who's watching them, and just a quick story. In 1990, I was part of Mayor Morton's retirement assembly at Haven. And my wife, Claire, was my classmate in Mrs. Bird's class. So it's pretty remarkable to be here 27 years later in this spot. And I look forward to working with everybody. Thank you.
Alderman Ravel.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, I would like to thank the residents of the 7th Ward for allowing me to represent them again for a full 4-year term. And I look forward to working with my colleagues who are continuing on the council and my new colleagues. And I look forward to learning what the issues are that are of greatest concern to everyone. And I have an item of business that I need to bring before us. I ask that the City Council meet in special session immediately preceding the May 15th Rules Committee meeting to consider adopting a resolution opposing a request from Cook County to the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District for an easement across property that Evanston leases from MWRD. The proposed easement area is a very wet, heavily wooded parcel just north of Isabella between the CTA tracks and the golf course. The purpose of the easement would be to allow the construction of an access road to reach private property in Wilmette. The proposed roadway would require the removal of a number of mature trees and do irreparable harm to an intact natural area that should be protected. The majority of residents who attended a community meeting that I held back in October to discuss the proposed easement were strongly opposed to this request, and so I ask that we have a special meeting to consider this next week. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Alderman Rainey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I got it. First of all, I love the interest and the curiosity being shown by the new alderman. I mean, they showed it before, calling the old alderman, and they're showing it now. And I want to say to Cicely that two of my very best girlfriends in the whole world have been Ninth Ward aldermen. So I'm looking forward to getting to know you. They're just wonderful people, and we've had a lot of camaraderie, and there's a lot of, because we border each other, there's a lot of mutuality. Also, Lawrence Hemingway and I are hosting a meeting about Clyde Brummel Park. There's some issues about the use of that park, and that's going to be on May 17 at 7 o'clock. We're hoping it'll be in the park. It might be at the old outpost, but either way, it's going to be at 7 o'clock on May 17th, which is a week from this coming Wednesday. Stay tuned for the location. So, welcome everybody. What's so funny? To the new alderman, you have to keep your eye on your colleagues because they do things when you're talking and you have to keep your eye on them.
Alderman Fleming.
Good evening. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I also want to just thank my family who supported me, throughout the whole process, and they're here tonight. Thank you to my family who could not be here tonight, who are watching online, so I'm sure I'm blue to them. I heard that we are all blue on TV tonight, so hello, Mother. So anyway, I sit here in great humility and great excitement for the people of the ward who supported me. Even the people of the ward, obviously, who supported my opponent. I still plan to represent you with as much excitement as I do those who walk the streets with me, knocking on doors. I just want to extend a thank you as well to the Evanston community for showing up tonight for the record-setting numbers of the election. That's very exciting to see people come to the polls and make their voice heard. I would just ask you all to be patient with me as a new alderman. I might get a motion wrong here or there, but I am trying. And just to extend my gratitude to the ones who are serving, the new ones and the old ones, that you would take the time out of your life, because I hear it's a lot of time to serve on this council. So I thank you for the service you've already put in. I thank you for the service that we will put in together. I look forward to working with everyone to make sure our city is equitable, make sure everyone here, no matter what their demographics, experiences the highest quality of life we have to offer. And I just want you to know that, particularly in the Ninth Ward, I'm available, but outside of the Ninth Ward as well, I am here to serve the entire city, as Alderman Braithwaite made known earlier. So I just appreciate you, and I thank you, and I look forward to serving.
Clerk Reed. And I haven't sat up here before. Excuse me, Devon.
Yes. I want to thank everyone for coming tonight to this first council meeting of the 80th Council. I have a quick message that I want to share with folks. First, but before I get to that, I do want to thank a few people. I want to thank my mom, who is here, and I want to thank you for instilling a sense of self-worth and determination and drive in me at a young age. I want to thank Judy and Craig Monroe for, thank you guys. I want to thank you guys for showing what love and family looks like. growing up. And I want to thank Mike and Dora Perry for showing me that no matter where you fall on the spectrum of political ideology, race, religion, whatever it is, that you too can show love on folks. And I want to thank you for everything you've done for me. And I say that because the clerk's office is your office. It's the people's office. And it's how you show love to your fellow citizens by being engaged, by coming into the office and doing the hard work of FOIAing arcane and strange rules and holding the rest of us up here accountable. And I want to be your partner in that. I want to be your partner in making sure that the 11 of us up here aren't the only ones driving policy, driving decisions, that all of you have a true voice in decisions that are made here in this city. So with that, I have a few announcements that I want to make. So first, the clerk's office will shortly have a legislative access portal, so you can easily access policy online and follow and track policy, so you can better hold us accountable. We're going to have improved hours. You're going to be able to access the office from 8:30 until 7 o'clock starting next week. I'm going to work to clarify the rules for our election and make sure that you can express, you can make your voice heard in our democracy, run, vote, and share your passions with us. I'm going to work to increase voter registration and participation in this city. And I'm going to lead on progressive policies related to the clerk's office. And I'm very excited for the opportunity. I'm very excited to be your partner in making our city a better place. So thank you.
All right, I guess that leaves me. There is so much hope and optimism in this room, and to stand up there with each of you as you were sworn in really had chills go down my back. This is a really special place. The fact that we have packed this room tonight, the fact that there was a city council meeting before this with such engagement from people, really strong engagement. And I think that oath that we just took, and that part of that end of that oath, that we all want to transmit this city, not less, but greater, better, and more beautiful than it was transmitted to us, should not be forgotten. People will disagree. People on this dais will disagree, okay? I hope that we are always respectful of one another, that we are respectful of residents' opinions, and that we are civil in our discourse. We are setting a tone for other communities and for other people around this country at a time when that tone is not as great as it has been in the past 8 years, in my opinion. And that's something that I would just like to see us keep in mind as we begin the hard work of governing this very great city. I would like to big thank you for the fact that I'm even up here to my wife Lisa and my daughter Caroline and Garrett. Okay. This may be Garrett's last city council meeting. He was a little antsy before. I'd also like a big shout out to my dad, who came all the way here from Massachusetts, and my brother. I should note that if you were here for the earlier session of the City Council, Mayor Tisdale was awarded and recognized in a very special way to her for all the work that she had done with water and having the water utility named after her. My father said, "Boy, I hope they don't name the sewer system after you, son." So that sets the bar. I don't want the sewer system to be named after me after 4 years. I think we can do some great work up here. We will have passionate debate at times, but we should always try to properly balance all of the great values that we have in this community. It is a pleasure to preside over the 80th City Council, and it is a truly honor to be up here with so many people in this crowd who have put so much into to the campaigns, whether it was from me or other candidates, and there are other candidates in this room. Democracy is alive and thriving in Evanston, Illinois, and it's a great place for us to demonstrate to others what an engaged democracy can do. Do I have a motion for an adjournment?
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. All right, the 80th City Council, first one is adjourned.